One morning, Allison and I were actually going to get away for a day of R&R, and we were about 13 miles from home. It was about 8:38 in the morning, and we got a call. We were just passing the Intercoastal, leaving our home in Florida, get to 95 to head north for a full day of rest and relaxation. We got a frantic call from a nurse that is normally very cool, calm, and collected, and we knew something was drastically wrong. And immediately, I turned around and screeched towards home, sped towards home, and the phone call was just devastating. I'm losing him. He's not breathing. He's purple. He's gone. There's no heart rate. I can't. The oximeter is not showing anything. I've got to go. I've got to go. And I called 911. They're on their way. So Allison and I, that night, that 13 miles driving home as fast as we could. Again, as some of you sitting in those seats right now have experienced the same thing. I remember Allison. Screaming, "God, don't let it end here. This is not how it's supposed to happen." And we got home, and it was They had an Ambu bag on Josh, and we were on the edge. We were teetering on the edge. And we went ahead and went through our normal progression. Allison jumped in the ambulance with Joshua and the paramedics. And I stayed at home, and I went ahead and packed up some equipment that I knew that we would need at the hospital if we had an extended stay. And I got to the hospital about an hour after Allison and Joshua did. And we had learned, obviously, that both lungs had collapsed. And he was in a very, very delicate state. And again, as most of you know, the intensive care units cannot handle our children when they're critical like this, because each nurse has 3 or 4 patients, and our boys need 24/7 every second. They need attention every second of the day. So our system was that Allison would stay until 9 or 10 at night, and I would spend the night. And then Allison would come and take over at 9 or 10 in the morning. I would go home and get some rest. I'm sure this is all very familiar to all of you. When we were in the hospital, Joshua couldn't talk. He just wasn't loud enough to hear. So if I dozed off in the chair next to him, we always left the Matchbox car next to him so he could bang on the metal railing with that Matchbox car. So at about 2:10 in the morning, I hear a tink, 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 tink. And this is after Joshua had been kind of comatose all day and all night. 2 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of wake up and rub the sleep out of my eyes, and I look at Josh. His eyes are wide open, and he's looking at me, and he wants to talk. And he said, "Dad, how you doing?" And I said, "Josh, I'm doing good," as I'm standing up rubbing the sleep out of my eyes, trying to clear my head, get ready for an in-depth conversation. And he said, "Dad, I'm glad I'm still here." And I said, "Well, Josh, I'm glad you're still here too." And his statement just kind of dumbfounded me. And then his next statement was even more profound. He said, "Yeah, but I'm glad I didn't die today." And I sat there, and I was thinking, in my infinite wisdom of life and death, I said, "Well, I guess now's the time I need to talk to my son about life and death." And I said, "Well, Joshua, I'm glad you didn't die today either, and I'm so glad you're still here with us. And but Joshua, we believe that we're going to see our loved ones in heaven again someday, and all of us are going to die someday, and but that's okay." And he says, "Yeah, but not until I'm old like Nana." Now, Nana was 72 years old at the time. And what I learned that instant was that my words had confined my son and put his life into a box. And my son's words, and he was probably 7 years old at the time, had defined his life. My words were confining, his words were defining. He had defined his life that he was going to live to the ripe old age of at least 72 and enjoy life like his Nana was enjoying life. And that's the mentality, the times that we're down. And if some of you there are very new to this journey, or some of you across the world are very new to this journey, I just encourage you, and we all just encourage you that it may not be a short journey. It may be a very long and hard journey. But when my son at 14 years old can say, "Dad, I want a hug," and he can put his arm around my neck and say, "Dad, I love you," it makes all the pain go away. And for those of you that have lost your children at younger ages, we can only pray and believe that the efforts that are going to come out of this event, the efforts that are going to come out of what Pam and Gary Scoggins have done over the years, and the efforts of our researchers and collaborators in research are going to bring change to the lives of these kids, period. And that's what I believe is going to come out of this conference.